Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Today is an Artful day. If you're not sure what Artful is, it's an art subscription box which comes quarterly, so you get 4 boxes per year. Last year I treated myself to a year's subscription, and now this is my 4th and final box, and it's quite exciting because it is a 3D medium and it is a chunky clay box. If you would like to see what is in this box and see what I make with it a bit later on, then do stick around because I think this one is going to be a good one. I don't know why I always find it so hard to just get a grip on that tab. Okay. So right on top of the box we have this, which is their magazine about the process. You get one of these in every Artful box. It is a chunky booklet. It's super thick and you get so much information. They really do pack them out. So I'll have fun reading that a little bit later on. We have this, which has a hair on it. I'm just going to take that hair off. We've got a lovely sponge. That noise is the only sponge noise you ever hear, isn't it? Ooh, spongy. We have a pencil, which is an F pencil. We often get pencils in the Artful boxes, and you can never have too many pencils. They're always useful, so I'll take it. Right, we have clay, as you would expect and hope. We've got 2 chunky clays. I'm assuming they're the same. They're both 500 grams. We have instructions on the back, which is quite nice and clear. They look like they're in nice kind of recyclable packaging as well. I don't know whether that is definitely the case. Oh, and that's quite cool. It's got I was opened on, and you can put the date on there as well because they are resealable packets. So that's nice. If you don't use the full amount, it does say on the back, use within 2 months of opening. So you can write that on the bottom there and keep track of how old your clay is. So that's a nice little touch. Right, what is going on here? This is it's just like a little kind of sketchbook, which is, again, always handy, always useful to have extra paper for noodling and doodling. And then we have, we do get a brush. I wasn't sure whether we'd get a brush in the clay one, but we do, and it's a number 3, and it's a pointy one. I do enjoy the Artful brushes. They are really good quality, and yeah, whenever I've painted with them, they have worked really nicely, so I'm happy to have another one. What is this? This is varnish. This is glossy varnish in quite a nice, cute little simple bottle there. So that's for varnishing your clay creations after you have made them. And then in this bottle we have acrylic black paint. I mean, yeah, like if you only need black, then cool, you've got some here. I'll just add it to my other paints. And now here's the exciting bit for moi, because clay tools. I know some people wouldn't get excited about this, but I do. This excites me because I don't have any. Like, I did buy myself some clay tools a little while back, but for some reason, and I don't know why, and I didn't really sort of notice until after I got them, but they didn't have any loopy tools like these where you can gouge out areas of the clay a little bit easier. So I have been just making do with bits of wire and my fingers. So it's really nice to have some of these, and they're all different kinds of loops. We've got a standard oval type loop. We've got this little one, which is intriguing. It's got like a little nublet at the end there. We've got a triangle, and we've got this, which is just like, I like it. It's like a V-shaped gouge, or you could use that side as well, but it's like a little pointy nose on something. And then at the other ends of these, we do have extra tools as well. So these are more for moulding and pushing the clay around, smoothing it down. So we've got some nice flat edges, some rounded edges. That's a kind of pointy rounded, but that's a oval rounded. We've got a flat top on that one, which is also kind of a little bit bent, so you can kind of like scoop around. And this one, which is a pointy point. So let me get rid of the box for a sec. So this is everything that we've received in the Artful Box. I'm excited to have a go with all of this and see what we can make. Let's go. Okay, I have my board here, which I know is not YouTube aesthetic, but it is practical. It's just a bin bag taped over a board, and it just means it'll be nice and easy for me to move the clay around on. I have also grabbed the odd tool which I already had, such as my little clay rolling pin, so that will help me out just to make a start on what I want to do.
So if you're wondering what this is aiming to be, I thought I would try and make myself a kind of green man type sculpture. Have you heard of those? They're kind of like fairy faces that come through the leaves and have sort of vines and leaves just all around the features. And you can sometimes find them hanging on trees in gardens, that kind of thing. So I figured I'd have a go myself. I just had a flat piece of clay that I rolled out with my little roller and then started building features on top of it. I did make sure to, with those larger bits of the features, to score the back of them and score the base of the clay and put a little bit of water between the two as I stuck them down as well, because hopefully that will help it to adhere better and make a more solid connection. I put the eyes on quite early because once you get the eyes on, you kind of get an idea of where you're going with a piece like this, don't you? And they are little beady eyes, and they stared at me the whole time. I was in two minds as to whether or not I liked them because they kind of freaked me out a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but at the same time I did enjoy them because I felt like they were kind of otherworldly and looking out at me from those vines. It was quite cool. I will say you are going to get a lot of the top of my fluffy head just popping in every now and again. You're just going to have to work around it because, yeah, that just happens a lot in this video. I had to get over the top of it quite a lot. So in making this, although I enjoyed myself and it took a long time to do, I will say I got halfway through and then realised that I was really not using most of the things that came in the Artful Box. I was only using the clay, but I didn't use any of the tools because essentially I had to go at using some of those tools, but because this was such a small kind of intricate kind of thing that I wanted to make, they were a bit too chunky to use on this, so I ended up using lots of the tools that I already had, which is fine and marvellous, but it doesn't help you know whether or not this box was any good for its tools, does it? No, it does not. So I did decide to make something else after this, so hang around for the second piece if you would like to see that. I will say the clay is very nice to use. It's very soft, very malleable. You can make lovely textures on it using different tools, and yeah, it was very pleasurable to use. Also, I will say it does take a long time to dry depending on the environment that you are placing it in. So my one is in a very cold shed, and in trying to dry it in there, yep, it's over a week later, it's still not fully dry. So if you want it to dry quicker, it says in the book you can get a hairdryer on it if you wanted to, but definitely have it in a warmer room and that will speed up the process. But here it is. Here's what I ended up with. I'm really looking forward to painting it up because I am sure it's going to look so good. But yeah, until it's dry, I can't quite do that. So I'll pop that on Instagram when it's finally done. So to start on a second project, I went back to my leftover clay, which I had sealed inside the bag, and oh my gosh, I could not get that bag open for so long. It is tough. It is difficult. I don't know why it was so hard, but yeah, it was sad times. Does anybody else find that they do things to the rhythm of music that they're playing in the background? Yeah, that happens all the time. Anyway, here we go. I'm making a brush pot for my brushes, which is why I am gouging out little areas of this base of the pot, because I wanted it to be, you know, where you kind of rub your brush in the pot to clean it. I had a lovely plan in my brain. It was just going to be a very minimalist kind of pot with some notches in the top so that I could place my brushes in those notches. It was going to be lovely. I will say that this pot did not come out completely as I intended, but also it did not come out hugely badly either. It's in that nice middle ground of, okay. So this was where I was trying to put the collar, I suppose, is it called? I don't know, sides of the pot onto the base. I scored everything. I really tried my best and stuck it all down. I perhaps would have been better doing a coil pot, because this collar, kind of trying to get it on and trying to keep it straight, I mean, it was wobbly. It was wobbling all over the place. Yeah, I don't think I went about it in the right method there, but you know, I was just having a go, having a play. I wasn't really, let's not put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. I did enjoy using the sponge. The sponge was very fun. It's a nice firm sponge. So it kind of does help you to like smooth areas and nice big areas. Yeah, I enjoyed using the sponge. I think perhaps this pot was a little small for it. It's probably the smallest thing that you could use that sponge on, but it would probably work a lot better if you were doing like a bigger bowl or something. But I mean, sponges are always fun, aren't they? So yeah, thumbs up for the sponge. Here I'm trying my best to put a wiggly worm of clay inside the bottom of the pot. Oh, there it goes. There it is. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I mean, I thought to myself, score it, Gemma, which is what you can see on the wiggly worm. It's all kind of scored, but as I put it down, it didn't fall with the score inside on the bottom. So that was all wrong. Anywho, I did manage to smooth it all down in the end, and I did manage to get it stuck. It doesn't look it here, but I did. I got there in the end. So that was all good. As I say, I didn't really use the tools that they gave me for smoothing because I just found them a little bit too big for my hands, I think. I've got quite small hands, and in using them, I found them a little bit difficult to control on the kind of woody end in terms of smoothing things. I just ended up making more marks on the clay with those, so I went back to using the tools that I already had in order to smooth things because I just found them a little bit easier to use, as I say, for my particular hands. And because I couldn't get the sides to sit up completely straight from all angles, because I was being a little bit of a silly perfectionist, I thought, hey, let's just use the wibbly wobbliness to our advantage then, and we'll put a lip on it. And then this happened. Oh dear. I'm trying to make it better. As you can see, I put the notch in that I was deciding that I should do, and it looks like that. That's what it looks like. And I kept coming back to it then for ages afterwards. This is when it was a little bit drier because those tools really weren't doing anything when it was wet. I think, like, again, I think I'd get on better if the wire was thinner. But they're really kind of thick wires, as you can see. I think this actually is what they're more for, when it's dried a bit and you can just kind of finesse edges with them. I think that's mainly what they're for. So as I say, this was my final box of my year's subscription to Artful, and I will say I thoroughly enjoyed my boxes. I'm not going to be resubscribing for another year just because it is a luxury and I can't quite afford to do another one at this moment, but I'll definitely think about it for the future. I do think it is a good value box, and the art supplies that I have received in all of my boxes have been really good quality. quality. So what do you think? Are you an Artful subscriber? Do you enjoy getting the boxes each quarter? Do they help you explore your art a little bit further? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.